Good evening, everyone. The Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting of June 25th, 2025 is now open. Will everyone please stand for a salute to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Notice of the meeting has been satisfied in accordance with 231 PL 1975 by advertising in the Home News Tribune, notifying the Sentinel Publishing Company and also the Star Ledger, and also posting on the bulletin board and filing with the Borough Clerk. Roll call.
Mr. Green,
Here.
Mr. Kaczynski,
Here.
Mr. Esposito,
Here.
Mr. Emma, Mr. Bella, Mrs. Gottstein, Mr. Castlegrant,
Here.
Ms. Kazandi. We have a quorum.
We do not have any continued applications and we have no carry-on applications. So our first application tonight will be 2510, 24 Roma Street. Mr. Hodder. Would you come up, please?
Please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do. Sir, can you tell us exactly what you want to do with this application?
Name and address.
Yeah, you need your full name and address first.
Terry Hodder, 24 Roma Street.
Your property owner.
I am.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to get 10 feet for a golf simulator, and I'd like to use the second floor for complete storage.
The height, the entire height of the garage is 18 feet.
Correct, that's what I'm asking for.
And what are you going to use the garage for?
Storage, second floor, and ultimately a golf simulator on the first floor?
No commercial use for that.
Negative.
You're going to have electric on it?
Yes,
Any water?
negative.
Any of the board have any questions?
What are the variances?
15
Record.
feet, I believe.
It's accessory structure can't exceed 15 feet, this growth would be 18 feet. The area of the garage, accessory structure can't exceed 150 square feet, this is 864 square feet plus second story. The minimum setback, side and rear would have to be 5 feet, this is existing, it's 2 feet to the rear, 5 feet to the side. Supposed to be similar in appearance to if possible, to the principal structure.
Absolutely.
So the only thing being proposed is the height, 18 versus 15 required. And I guess adding second story, even with storage, would that increase the area? No. So then no change in the area either. Existing condition exceeds the 150 square feet. It's got, I think, 864, about 30 by 27, I think.
And did you say existing? Is there an existing garage or?
The garage walls are existing, and then you're adding a second story to the garage for storage.
Correct.
Okay,
So the setback exists, the area exists already. It's only the fact that the roof is going to exceed the required maximum height by 3 feet. Instead of 15 feet, it's going to be 8.
And would you agree that it will not be used for residential dwelling?
Absolutely.
We have that.
Any other questions of the board? What's the pleasure of the board concerning this application?
Oh, yeah. Public.
Oh, open to the public. Anyone from the public wish to speak in reference to this application? Hearing no one, I close the public portion. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Give a roll call. Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Kozinski,
Yes.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
All right, sorry, what was your last name? Thank you. Mr. Emma,
Yes.
Mrs. Gottstein,
Yes.
Mr. Castle Grant,
Yes.
Ms. Kazandi. Application approved.
Okay, the application's been approved. We'll memorialize it at our next meeting and you can start your garage.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
I have approved it.
Uh-oh. Please, it's
Not,
not about my son today, is it?
Yes.
Oh,
he was
okay.
Great. I was so impressed with him.
Thank you.
Should be very proud.
We are. Thank you.
Our next application is 2511 40 Price Street. Please come up.
I'll swear you both in. You raise your hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Yes.
You're both under oath, and if you could each give your name and address. Record.
40 Price Street.
40 Press Street.
Okay, need your names.
Janiris Nunez.
Christian Valerio.
Can you tell the board exactly what you want to do at 40 Price Street?
We want you to please to allow us to put a fence in the backyard that we needed for the safety of our kids.
On your application, I have a survey.
Mhm.
Is this the survey where you want to put the fence?
Yes.
I notice on the fence, you want to put that fence on the side where the frame shed is, correct?
Yes.
And you want to take it all the way 10 feet to the property line or the street
Yes.
on Henry Street?
Yes.
And this is a 6-foot vinyl fence?
Yes.
I noticed that on the survey that you submitted, that you have a tent there. Is that tent there present? Is that presently there?
Who? I'm sorry?
The tent that's on the survey,
Mhm.
is that tent,
No, it's not.
it's not there?
No, not anymore.
When was it taken out?
Well, not me. I'm not asked the weather. One of the storm that happened.
Yeah, the weather took, blew it up, with the wind blew it up. Last year.
I also noticed on this survey that you don't have a pool, but I was down in your area and I observed a pool in the yard. Is there a pool in your yard?
Yes.
Yes.
When was that pool put in?
That was there when we bought the house.
It was there when you bought the house?
Yes.
I brought up the listing for your house when you purchased it back in 21, and there wasn't any pool listed on the listing or on the remarks, and it wasn't put on in the pictures. There's no pool.
I don't know what happened there.
Well, obviously, there was no pool when you bought the house,
Was there when we bought it. I'm sorry.
but there wasn't.
Are you saying when you bought the house, the pool was there?
Was there.
Would have any questions regarding this application?
Mr. Chairman,
Did you purchase the house in February 2021?
Yes.
Okay, because the date of the survey is February 2021 and it doesn't show the pool. Question for you about the fence location. If you're looking at, on Henry Street, looking at your property, you want to put the fence on the left side. There's a retaining wall. Are you going to put it on the bottom of the retaining wall or on the top of the retaining wall?
On the top.
So you're going to put it on top of the existing retaining wall.
Mhm.
So that retaining wall is about 3 or 4 foot high?
Yeah, around that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the top of the fence, you're going to put a 6-foot fence on top of a 3 or 4 foot high retaining wall.
Most likely, yeah.
Okay, just want
Yeah,
to make it
yeah.
clear to the board what you're going to go through and do. And then the plan that was submitted shows 10 feet from the property line. And I thought there was some discussion about that. You wanted to make it 3 feet from the property line,
Yes,
which is correct.
yes, but we used to have a chain link fence there before.
But the chain link fence is shown on the survey. The chain link fence is not on your property. It's in the right of way of Henry Street. So do you want to put your new fence where that existing fence was?
Yes.
Yes, well, that's what we're trying to do. Put in
Okay,
the.
You wouldn't be able to do that because the fence was not on your property. And your plan is saying that you're going to put that fence 10 feet onto your property. So about, let's say it's about 12 feet closer to your house than where the existing fence was. That's what the plan calls for. Is that what you want to do? Or do you want to put it on your property line?
On the property line.
Okay, so not 3 foot back, which is what somebody had
So-
said you wanted to
So
do.
how many feet on the property line from the curb? How many?
The curb to
Yeah.
your property line is approximately 10 feet.
10 feet?
Right. And your plan shows another 10. So from the curb, you're proposing it about 20 feet based on this plan.
It's on the property line that we're gonna do it.
So you want to put it on the property line with no setback.
Yeah.
Okay, so just so the board is
Yeah.
clear, on the left side of the property, looking at it from Henry Street, they want to put it on top of the existing retaining wall and they want to put it on the property line. And on the right-hand side where the chain link fence is, that's going to stay. You're going to keep that existing chain link fence on the right side as you're looking at it from Henry Street?
If we can change it,
I'm just trying to understand what you want to do. That's what the plan shows. There's an existing chain link fence.
we want to take off to put all the
Yeah.
vinyl fence around the house.
We might take it off too.
So you
Yeah.
want to, where the retaining wall is on the left side, looking at it from Henry Street, you want to put a fence on the top of the wall. Along the back property line, you want to put it with no setback right on the property line. And now on the right side, you want to take that existing chain link fence out and replace it with a vinyl fence.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm looking at Google Maps, and I'm trying to get an understanding of this. So they have a fence that's coming off of their house now? A vinyl fence?
Correct. It stops and runs into a chain link fence. And that chain,
But it looks like it's offset by like 3 feet, it looks like? Is that their chain link or is that the neighbor's chain link?
the vinyl fence, looking at this 2021 survey, it shows a fence on their property. So I'm assuming that that's where the vinyl fence is.
Because I'm seeing a fence, a gate, and then the chain link.
Right.
It looks like it's the neighbor's. Is that-
Well, looking at the survey, the chain link looks like it runs right on the property line. So I'm not sure who the owner of the chain link fence is. It looks like it kind of goes from one side to the other.
Or who's the owner of the chain link fence?
well, they say we are.
It's for, I think it's us.
The
You think it's you?
The neighbor says it's our,
Mr. Chairman, per ordinance, you'd have to have the fence offset onto your property. So if that's on the property line, they would have to put it on their property if they're putting the fence up.
You have a driveway there also.
Yeah. We'll have a draw in the back.
And do you want the fence to go across that driveway? Are you going to put a gate?
yeah, we're
Put-
gonna put a door gate.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
A gate?
Yeah.
So you open the gate in order to put the car in, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Mr. Cornell, what is from the property line to the street? What is it, 20 feet now?
Well, the existing is approximately 10 feet from the curb line to the property line. That's existing. That's the borough right away of Henry Street. The plan you have in front of you says they want to put that fence 10 feet further, which would be approximately 20 feet from the curb, but now they're saying they want to put it on that property line, which would be 10 feet from the curb. So they don't want to have any setback. They want to put it right on their property line.
We have an ordinance, it's 20 feet.
That's why they're here, because they want to put it not in accordance with your ordinance
We're looking
requirements.
for 10 feet.
Oh, looking for zero.
Now they're looking for a 0-foot setback, which is 20 feet less than what's required.
Is that driveway still there?
Yes. The tent, if you're looking at the survey, the tent is not there, and approximately beyond that concrete pad is where there's a swimming pool.
They were gonna put a house on that. How far away from the curb would it have to be?
20-foot setback. It's a residential zone, 20-foot setback. This is an undersized, it's a 40-foot wide lot, so they'd have to get variances if they ever wanted to subdivide it and put another house there.
Well, 30 feet from the curb, because like Jay had said, the property line is 10 feet in from the curb, so a house would be 30 feet back from the curb.
And then that retaining wall is theirs. Those are the neighbors.
Looking at this survey, it appears that the block wall that they want to put on they want to put the fence on top of the block wall, appears that it's on the neighbor's property. It's not clear from this drawing. It doesn't show any offsets.
So then if they put the fence on, it's gonna be more on the neighbor's property because they have to dig the holes, they have to cement them. So if that's on the property line. Now you're,
Well, that's why I was asking where they want to put it. It doesn't appear that they own that wall based on this survey. So they would have to put it on their property, which would be on the lower part, on the ground area, and the retaining wall would be behind it, unless they have another document that says this is their wall. I assume this is the only survey you have?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the only one. But the wall belongs to us. The wall, the retaining wall belongs to,
Looking at the
Yeah,
survey, it
yeah.
doesn't appear that it looks like it's on the adjacent property. Looking at the survey.
yeah, that's it.
which one? The one on the right
The
side?
neighbor.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
You can see the wall here. This is the line.
Okay,
That's the wall.
so that's belong to the other house. Okay,
Jay, looking at the survey,
so, okay, I have
uh,
it.
from the Henry Street side, so on the left, there appears to be a line that is almost free-handed. Is that the property line?
It's weird, right? Because,
Within the highlighted wider line.
If you look, it says block wall. So I think where you have the double line, that's the designation for the limits of the block wall.
Okay,
I think the darker line is their property lines though. That's why I'm saying it looks like the wall is on the neighbor's property, not their property.
yeah.
we have so many confuses about the retaining wall, that which one is us, which one is for the neighbor. We are very confused about that. We don't know exactly which one is belong to us.
'Cause it looks like the wooden wall is also on your neighbor's property. If you're staying on Henry Street, looks like both walls are on the neighbor's property.
Have you talked to the neighbors about this fence that you want to put up?
Yes,
You have?
yes.
And what do they say?
They say they're fine, they don't care. They say it's our property, we do whatever, whatever we want to do it.
And they know that the fence is gonna be on top of it.
Yes, we spoke to them, yes. Nobody has any complaint about it, or the neighbor close to us, they are agreed, to us to put the fence.
When you spoke with them, did you tell them you wanted to have it 10 feet back from the property line?
Yes, each one has the letter that you have, that we handle it personally to each one.
Okay,
The
so,
one close by to us.
right, but now you're saying you don't want 10-foot setback, you want to have it right on the property line. So
On the
that's,
property line.
that's different than what you told the neighbors.
This is also going to affect the,
That's what, the plan shows 10. That's what I'm saying, that that's, but now it's 0.
Who came in and looked at the.
Okay, the notice said 3 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. For the board, just to clarify, the notice indicated the fence was going to be 3 feet off the property line. The plan shows 10, the notice said 3, now they're saying 0.
Property line 10 feet from the curb.
Correct. So the fence would be 10 feet from the curb. They were saying if you're measuring from the curb, the notice that they wanted to put it 13 feet from the curb. The plan in front of you says they want to put it 20 feet from the curb.
How can we do that? If it's, I'm just like looking at the street, so that's 10 feet from the curb. The neighbor backing out of his driveway wouldn't see car coming down the street. Like the line of sight is obscure.
If you're looking at the map, there's a row of trees that was there originally. That's been taken down. So there may have been some slight issues previously when the trees were there. That's gone away.
Exactly.
But now you're gonna have the fence in that area where the trees are. So that's potential obstruction for the neighbor, correct?
For both neighbors on both sides.
The left-hand side, the driveway is closer than the house on the right. So, but potentially it could, but it's, I think, more of an impact on the house on the left than it would be on the right.
And you're also gonna have a safety issue too, with the hill on Henry Street. Cars coming up and down, and you're not gonna be able to see any, and of course, also too, if that gate is to be opened up, that's gonna be opened up right to the street, correct?
Depends on how it's set. You could set it up to swing in or swing out, but yeah, if it swings out, then potentially that would create more of an obstruction.
Mr. Chairman, if the gate was closed and the vehicle stopped to enter, it would be out in the roadway because it's only 10 feet.
Yeah.
And then just a question if I can. You had said you want to put the retaining wall, put the fence on top of the retaining wall, so it would be 9 or 10 feet high. But then when you get, the retaining wall ends, and then the fence that would run parallel to Henry Street would be at grade. So you'd have a fence that was 10 feet high, all of a sudden would drop down to 6 feet. So you'd have no transition from one to the other. There's no way you can get the two tops of the fence to meet. Were you aware of that?
No.
No,
It goes gradually down. If it goes like from 10 to 8 to 7, then it'll go 6. So they would have, the fence would have to be diagonal. Like, you know, right? I mean,
Right, well, if they're saying they want the fence on the retaining wall, it's the highest near the road, isn't it, Jay? Is that where it comes to about 4 feet? So near the roadway, it's almost 4 feet. If they want to put a 6-foot fence on top of that, and then running parallel to Henry, you're at grade, you're about 4 feet lower. So I'm just saying, I don't think you can even you can't step it up unless you were going to make it 10 feet high fence running parallel to Henry, or you step it down to 2 feet if you're running it toward Henry, so.
But according to the street view, there's already a fence with the neighbor on Henry Street. Looks like there's a black fence that's on top of the retaining wall. So they wouldn't even be able to go all the way to Henry.
On the south side or the north side?
On the
shed side, on the left side as you're.
Shed side?
On the shed side, yeah. Because that looks like it goes, I don't have a good angle here, but it looks like it's almost up to the shed, this black fence.
The black fence that's on top of the retaining wall, did you put that fence up?
black face. From,
If you're on Price Street looking at your house on the right side.
no,
there's-
that's the other neighbor fence.
Okay.
The neighbor of, what's the other?
42?
42, from 42. Price
So
Street.
that's their property, so
Yeah.
the person next to them on.
No, but see, if you look at this drawing, it looks like that front part of the wall is on their property. But as you go toward the back, it looks like it's on the adjacent property. If you just look at the dark line being the property line, the lighter line is on their side as you're closer to Price Street. The lighter line is on the neighbor's side as you get closer to Henry Street. So that looks like the limit of the wall.
Let me get clarity on this property.
Yeah, I think we can't approve anything if they're gonna put it on the neighbor's property, right?
Right. Yeah, I think you'd have to have more detailed survey information. That isn't something this board would do. You'd have to maybe see if the neighbors have surveys of their property to try to determine what their surveys show.
So can we give approval, on that side of the yard, if it's going to be on there, not on the wall, but on the
You could
That's
give,
what they're asking for.
it's not what they're asking for. You could give approval for them to put the fence on their property, and it's typically, was it 6 inches, Andy? 3 inches. 3 inches on their property is what the ordinance calls for. So you could grant approval to put it 3 inches on the property line, but then someone would have to determine where that property line is.
With relation to the wall.
Correct. Correct. And the neighbor's survey may show the wall being on their property, whereas this appears to show the wall being on the neighbor's property.
I'm sorry, I had a question. Right now it's a chain link, fence, right? It's in the which line? The neighbor line, property line or us?
Chain link fence appears to be right on the property line. It looks like the retaining wall is on your neighbor's property, but the fence is partially on your property, partially on the property line. That old chain link fence, if you're on Henry Street, the right side, that looks like it's right on the property line. But it looks like that wall is on the neighbor's property.
So both walls, the wooden wall and the block wall appear to be on the neighbor's property.
Based upon this survey, correct, yes.
I have a problem also with the safety part of it with the site triangle too.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's worse with 0 foot because as Mr. Fowler indicated, if they have gates there, someone has to park a car in the street or they pull halfway into the driveway to open the gates. So you could potentially have vehicles encroaching into Henry Street just to get in and out of the driveway. If you have it set back 10 feet, you can at least pull a car in. As long as the gates open into the property, the car would be off of the roadway.
But also too, you have a possible problem with the neighbors backing their cars out of the driveway with the site.
It would obstruct.
Yes,
An option might be to have that be a chain link as opposed to a solid vinyl. That would help with the visibility, but that's up to the applicant.
Can the retaining wall closer to the house be repaired? Because according to the street view, it looks like it's almost on a 45-degree angle. Blocked. And that's where they're gonna run the fence on. That retaining wall by your house, is that leaning?
No,
No, it's
we
not.
fix it.
We fix
Yes,
already.
we fix already.
Yeah. That was from the one, on the red, from facing the Price Street, that's the one for that, we fix it.
So you fixed it.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
fixed
we-
already.
We fix already.
It's there. Okay. Yeah.
That's what I said before,
Yeah,
that we are
we-
so
yeah.
confused about the retaining wall. We don't know which one exactly belong to us or belong to the neighbors.
I think that's correct. If you look at this survey, it looks like the front part of the retaining wall, if you're on Price Street looking at the right side, it looks like that retaining wall is on their property. As you get behind the house and continue, that's where it appears to shift and go on.
Yeah.
Correct.
Mr. Chairman, I have an issue with the fence going all the way to the property line because for the adjacent properties, that's their front yard. And this is a rather tight neighborhood. So there wouldn't be a lot of room between the front of the adjacent property's front door in front of their house and this fence. So I think it needs to be set back at least 10 feet.
you have a company that you talked to about putting this fence up,
Yes,
and the gate that you're talking about, is that going to swing out or swing in?
into the property.
Into your property, into the driveway, it's going to swing?
Yeah.
I think we need a modification on the property lines too.
Mr. Chairman, the other issue from a sight distance standpoint is for the homeowner themselves when they're exiting the driveway, because they're not going to be able to see up and down the road until they're out beyond the fence line. If you follow what I'm saying, if you're exiting the driveway, either backing out or if you're going head out, you won't be able to see up and down the road until you get beyond the fence line.
But be honest with you guys, we don't use exactly the driveway. We park in the front of the house.
Good, then,
But it still can be used as the park.
so when you say you're gonna have a gate there, is it a
Yes.
double gate or is it a,
Double, yeah, two doors.
so it's wide enough for a car to pull in though, and you have a curb cut there for a driveway?
Yeah. But we park all the time. We park in front of the house. So,
So we don't use the driveway.
but I.
Very easy, you know.
Yeah.
And that black fence that you had mentioned, it looks like it's from the property to the south of the subject property, that isn't a through road, it's a through lot, it's a double lot. So you have a house facing Henry, you have a house facing on Price. I think the house that faces Price is the one who has the black fence. It looks like a black wrought iron with some kind of a black mesh material over it. And then I think it ends, that dashed line, Jay, may actually be the lot line. And I think that's where if you look, the fence runs parallel to Henry Street and then perpendicular to Henry Street, but I don't think it goes beyond the shed. So where they're showing that fence on the plan, on the, I guess, what would be the west side of the shed, they couldn't put a fence, there's already one there. But I think around the back, where the back of the shed is, it appears that the fence ends there, where the property line ends. And then it runs, like I said, then you can, if you look at it on Google Earth, you can see it runs then along the rear property line of, I guess would be lot 25. If you're following. And Jay, if you follow me also, it looks like that black fence is a wrought iron fence runs, belongs to the owner of lot 25. And I think it ends at that dash line where it says block limit. Might that also be the lot line? But on lot 25?
Unless they put it on the not on the top of the wall, on the lower side of the wall, they could put it on their property. But if they want to put.
Right, it would be down, and then again, you'd be at grade and then going up
Right.
top of the wall. That's all, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Have you employed, did you have a contract with this fence company that's going to put this fence up?
Not exactly. We spoke to the guy and he's, is willing to put the fence for us. We don't have contract with them yet.
Well, I think we cannot proceed with this application tonight. That you're going to have this fence company draw us a picture, something similar to this, so we know exactly where that fence is going to go.
But I think he did the line that you can see is like a dark line. That's the line that he did.
I do see that, but that's not good enough for us because you're taking a wall and putting it on top.
About that, we had, now thinking about that, we had to decide if it's gonna be on the top or not, because it's kind of confused as well.
I think also there's existing fence that's present that's not shown on this plan, so you're not gonna be able to put the fence where you want to show it on top of the wall based on where that existing black fence is.
That we need to speak to him exactly what's best for us, if we're gonna be on the top or not.
I think that's what the chairman is asking. If you talk to your fence contractor, talk to him and show him this survey and have him mark exactly where the existing fence is and where you want to put your proposed fence. And also, you've heard the board's concern about where you want to put the fence on Henry Street. There's concerns about visibility. There's concerns about the gates opening in and out. So you may want to rethink what you're going to do in that area. And I think the board is saying, talk about that with your contractor, then have a revised plan prepared that shows exactly what you want to do. Because this also doesn't show fence on the right side looking from Henry Street. And you're saying now you want that. So you really should show exactly what you want to do, where the fence is going to be located, and then come back to the board for the next meeting and have that plan so the board can understand better what you want to do.
Can you do that?
We've been over a lot about the house. We're gonna be honest with you. First, with the retaining wall, we had so many issues. Only we try to do is the safety for my kids. I have 4. Right now, my backyard, the lady, I don't know who went to my house, is open. Anyone can go through my property. Whatever is in the paper is that we need for and we want to put in our house. I don't know what else I can say.
Well, we don't have an issue with putting the fence up, it's just, if it wasn't on the wall, it would be a lot easier for us to.
That's it. I need to, right now, we are more confused about if we want it in the top or not in the retaining wall. So now we had to see, because now we are more confused after this.
So can we just push us off and up, and let them think about it, and
You may also want to talk to your neighbors to see if they have surveys of the property. Maybe you could get copies of their surveys. It might show a little better if that retaining wall is on their property or it's on your property.
For which neighbor? The one is around or?
I think both sides,
Both
where you want to
sides.
put the fence, both that area where you want to put the fence. This board can't give you permission to put a fence on top of a wall if the wall's not on your property.
Yeah, but the one that, one of the neighbor, he was the one who, talked to us about the fence, even though he also spoke to the guy who gonna put the fence to us. He was the one who referred the guy to us.
And can the board ask the neighbors to come? And give their opinion, or can we like ask? for-
Well, everybody had the letter, nobody showed up.
So we sent the letter and
Yeah,
we
then
went
I-
to the closest one and they signed it.
They signed it.
Say they don't
Everybody
care.
was
This
agree
is
with it,
kinda-
you know.
How come the pool isn't on the survey? This survey was done the day or right before you purchased the home. How come the pool's not on the survey?
I don't know.
I don't know why, but it was already there when we bought the house.
Well, then I guess we can
Yeah.
go and find out if permits were issued for that pool.
Are you fixated on the vinyl fence?
A what?
Are you fixated, are you like, would you move away from the vinyl fence and do like a black fence or something that could see through? So it's not as obtrusive to the front, to the back of the house and the front of the other houses? Or are you, vinyl's the way to go? That's the way you want to do it?
Yes, that's the way we want to do.
Okay.
See, by putting a 6-foot vinyl fence up there, when you're coming out onto Henry Street, the site is
There
not
used
there.
to be trees there.
What?
I mean, there used to be trees there. How come that
Yeah,
we just cut off like maybe 2 or 3 months ago?
But the tree is only on that one side. You're talking a vinyl fence that's going to go the whole length. It's different.
Yes, I wanted, to put the whole, yes.
the difference is it's a structure.
Yeah, you have a choice to put it there. Trees were a problem, well.
I mean, if we had somebody.
That's why we cut off the tree to be more, the tree, we bought the house with the tree there too. I mean, we cut it.
I mean, if somebody asked us to put a house 10 feet off. the property,
so you think it's gonna be too high, 6 feet from the, it's too high for the vision, for the people? 6 feet is too high? Like,
You're sitting in your car, you can't see
there's
over a
somebody
6-foot fence.
coming,
You're in your neighbor's driveway in your car, trying to look to see if anybody's coming up or down the street. That
Mm.
fence is going to block their visibility.
I know, I got your point, but like I said, there used to be tree there. I
Yeah,
mean,
it used to be
it's-
tree.
it's-
yeah.
This is a structure.
Yeah.
It's different. It's different.
Mr. Valerio, you had said that the fence contractor drew the fence where it was.
The
it
name
was-
is in the paper.
It was going to go, but he drew the fence 10 feet back from the property line and 20 feet back from the curb. And you're here tonight saying you want the fence to be on the property line. So you understand the difference? He drew it 10 feet back from the property line, 20 feet from the curb.
Yeah, but
So
you
he didn't
guys said
draw
that
it where
I'm
you-
not allowed, we're not allowed to do that. So we had to, to decide what we want.
But you moved it closer to the street. Now you're asking to put it
But you
on the
said like
property
the one
line.
that we had before was not in the property line, in our property line, was in the,
I'm sorry, when, a little earlier you had said that the fence contractor drew the fence on this plan where he thought it should go. But you're saying this fence on this plan is showing the fence 20 feet back from the curb and 10 feet in from your property line. And tonight you're saying you want to have the fence on the property line. So that would be 10 feet closer to the street.
So what is 10 feet? That's supposed to do 10 feet from the curb?
Well, 10 feet from the
That's-
curb is your property line. Your drawing shows it 20 feet from the curb, the drawing you submitted,
Mhm.
that the contractor drew for you. That's why I think the board is saying you need to get things clarified, because right now it's very difficult to tell what's being proposed and not knowing if the fence is going to be on your property line or on your neighbor's property line. Again, if you have copies of the neighbor surveys, it may show different than yours or the same as yours. But as the engineer had said, the survey is showing that retaining wall is on your neighbor's property.
Which one? The one on the Henry Street?
When you're facing Henry Street,
Okay.
they're looking to the,
Not
maybe to the
wood,
left.
Not the wood, right? The wood is from the other neighbor. This is from the other neighbor. This wall.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
how could you put your fence on top of your neighbor's wall? The board cannot approve that.
Okay.
On this side,
Oh, yeah,
on the inside.
the inside, yes. But we still have the old one over there.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to go, it's supposed to be in the,
If you want to stay inside your property line, you have to put the fence inside the wall
Mhm.
on both.
Inside the wall, yeah.
Inside the wall. on
and
your
this
property.
side. So. Yeah,
Same thing. both.
yeah,
Both. You can't put it on top.
yeah.
You can't, because it's off your property.
Andy, show them the existing
Yeah.
fence on that plan, the one that they took down. Show them the existing chain link on Henry.
we just
On
like
here,
I want
Right
to
here.
replace the one that
See this
chain
right
link
here?
that is
So
right
what-
now.
what
That's the
about
one,
here?
that's not on
See
your
this?
property.
See
If you
this
look,
chain link fence right here?
that's not on your
Mhm.
property.
See that? You have the chain link fence there. I believe you took it down.
Yeah, that was the
Okay,
old one.
right, that was over the property line.
Mhm.
Look, this is your
Yeah.
line. This is where your fence was. See,
Yeah.
X. That's over the property line. See that?
Mhm.
They-
So,
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 What
but we want it like here on the property line.
okay, right, so you want to go on the property line, which would be about 2 or 3 feet in from where the old one was.
Okay.
Okay, now, originally, you came in at 10 feet,
Mhm.
and that's what the deny permit was. You came in and said, I want to go closer, so
Mhm.
you made it at 3 feet.
Mhm.
The only thing is the drawing didn't reflect that.
Exactly.
You want me to go on record on that or?
1 second. We have an ordinance that says on Henry Street, you have to be 20 feet from the curb, property line. And that's what the ordinance says. And you want to change that. And we're having a problem getting to change that because you can't see on the neighbor's sides coming out because of the 6-foot vinyl fence that's up. That's our
Yeah,
problem.
Because we're gonna lose a lot of property. If you put the fence, it's almost like a half in the driveway.
I understand that. I understand you're gonna lose some property. I know that.
20 feet from the curb?
Yeah,
That's what you're supposed to do?
yes,
30 feet from the curb.
30 feet from the curb.
It's not
That's a
that,
lot.
that's why I say no, to the gentleman here, it's gonna lose a lot. It's gonna be almost a half in the driveway.
That's correct. But that's the ordinance that we have in the borough of Serval, especially for a through lot like you have. See, it has to match the houses that are on Henry Street. And you're trying to bring it forward.
I tried to put in the property line. We tried.
And we can't approve it like that. We can't do it. That's our problem that we have.
It's gotta be 20 feet away from the property line, 30.
You don't need a variance. If you wanted to put it there, you wouldn't need a variance.
No, that's why we
No.
are here, because
I
I said, we say
understand.
no.
Yeah,
Understand?
We understand what you want to do.
But the concern is, you may want to consider chain link fence just along that area. You could put the vinyl on either side as long as it's on your property, but in the back, maybe you want to put chain link so somebody could see through it.
House on Henry Street. I'm looking at that black fence. That black fence looks like it's even with that house, so it's not even. That house looks like it's just set back just a little bit. I don't know what you guys are saying, because I think it's gonna be a site issue. We got a long way to that property. If 20 feet is a no-go, 15 feet, be a little bit better. I mean, I don't,
If they do a 10-foot setback, then it's 20 feet from the road.
from the setback.
Right, so
setback.
current 10-foot setback would make it, because there's 10 feet right away.
Approximately, yeah.
Approximately, so that would make it 20 feet from the road. If they did a 10-foot setback instead of 20 feet setback.
What's that, 20? Think about it, 15, could that possibly work?
I mean,
As long as it's not blocking enough, as long as it's not a
Right.
site issue.
then you would be giving them a 5-foot setback from the property. That would give you 15 feet into the property. So, because the 10-foot, right of way, 40 is the actual speed.
Net, you'd be 20 feet away from the property.
Right, so if they wanted 10 feet,
Well,
let's say they wanted a variance for 10 feet instead of 20 feet, 20 feet required. They wanted a variance for 10 feet. They would still be 20 feet from the curb because their property line does not go all the way to the curb. There's a right of way, goes 10 feet.
okay, thank you.
What do you think of that one, Jay?
Well, that's actually what the plan shows. The plan shows 10-foot right of way, 10-foot. They're saying they don't want that. They want to put it right on the property.
As far as I can understand this, what you're asking for, but you may want to bring it in 10 feet from the right of way.
Would you be willing to do that?
What, sorry?
so repeat that again, sorry.
Ten feet will be worse.
Can you show us the 10 feet?
Here's the curb.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay, if you go 10 feet in, that's where your front property line is.
okay.
Then you have to go another 10 feet.
Well, so from the property line, 10 feet from the property,
Like
okay.
around here.
Yeah.
It would be, right here where the orange is.
No, I mean,
No, so. Western.
First sorted out.
Mhm.
Okay, so still need a variance. And you came in and you wanted to go closer. At 3 feet away. Then you said, then you want to go.
But now, at least we can have in that
Okay.
property line.
so this is the property line is,
Tell you, you may want to take this and be happy.
We can
It's up to you, but I think that's what they're trying to.
Okay,
then tell them, then you tell them.
Are we okay with
Esto es que vamos a.
Andy, you have something that you want to put on the record here?
No, we're okay, unless you want me.
Did you explain to them exactly what we're talking about?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, zoning officer Andy Mashansky. Wanted to clarify with them is that initially they came into my office to have a 10-foot setback where 20-foot is minimum, so they need a variance for that. They revised their plan after submission to indicate 3-foot setback from Henry Street. That was noted on the denial letter, but the survey here does not indicate the 3-foot setback. During this hearing, they modified the 3-foot setback to 0-foot setback is what she explained to me is where she wants to have it. I explained to her that it might be in her better interest to maybe lessen that variance to back to 10 feet. And I think she wants to say that that's unacceptable. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that's where we're at.
Yeah.
I'm going to open this to the public. Anyone from the public wish to speak in reference to this application? Hearing no one from the public, I close the public portion. It's the pleasure of the board concerning this application.
Chairman, if we're voting on the application at 0 setback, I move that we deny the application.
Second. Roll call, Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Emma.
Yes.
Ms. Gottstein. Mr. Castlegrant.
Yes.
Ms. Kazandi.
We are denying your,
Denying.
we're denying your application. We cannot accept the application as you want it because we have an ordinance here that is 20 feet. So your application is denied.
If you want to come back and
Revise it.
revise your plan, you can file another application. But at 0 feet, the board is.
So what we spend all the money to send all the letters to the neighbors, we spend all the money, make us
The
spend all this
time,
money.
everything.
We shouldn't send any letters to nobody, you know,
What you can do,
huh?
what you can do now, being that we denied the application as it is, you can go down to the construction office and see Mr. Mashevitz there and talk to him and revise it and come back to us. But we have an ordinance in the Borough of Serval that is 20 feet, and we have to abide by that. And that's why your application was denied. So if you change your thought process and come up with a better idea or figure, come back to us and we can do it. But,
Like what idea,
well, you're gonna have to talk to him. We asked you to change it and you said no. We can't,
because I'm gonna lose a lot of my property.
we can't do it the
It's
way
gonna be
you,
on the half,
way it
way
is.
like the driveway. I'm sorry.
It's gonna be in they want to line up with the other house, right? The fence, it's gonna be lined up with the other house. Like,
I mean.
it's gonna take a half of the driveway.
You know, you're.
Yeah.
Apply with the ordinance or ask for a reasonable variance or don't have a fence. So, you know, you're allowed as of right to have a fence 20 feet back. So, you know, it's not, they're not saying you can't have a fence on your property.
Well, what kind of fence that we can put it out of that to put the fence? I mean,
Board will not grant you variance to put the fence at property. They already voted no on that. So,
But if she asked if like a chain link fence, in other words? If
Yeah,
you put
Yeah,
a
like
chain
a-
link, is there any difference? I mean, see, the board was giving you a little, right? And then you took a lot, okay? Like, it's supposed to be 20, you wanted 10, right? So we kind of met you halfway, and then you got greedy. Then you went to 0, you wanted it all the way there, and you weren't flexible. So of course, we're gonna say no. But so what, could you, a chain link fence, is that more aesthetically appealing and you could see through? Is that something that, if they were amenable to it, come back next month or 2 months from now?
Mr. Chairman, that's what I suggested.
Yeah,
I said
right,
you
yeah.
may want to consider a chain link fence because that would improve the visibility from your neighbor's driveway. But they didn't want the chain link. They didn't want the 10 feet. They wanted solid vinyl on the property line. And they asked to have that application voted on.
I have a question. Where did you get your survey? Is this your survey? You got it? You made a copy of your own
yeah, we got
survey?
it from
Yeah.
the lawyer
Yeah.
when we bought the house.
Also, what you might consider doing is, might not be as sightly, but vinyl up to a certain point and then chain like for the last inch or something. like
Yeah,
that.
that's what I
Along
want to
those
know.
lines.
If we decide to push in, lane, so we be where? The same way, like, the 20 feet or something? Or can be in the property line?
I know the board is.
¿Qué son los cherry fence? No, no.
Like estaba antes, like we used to have before.
Yeah, if you put that type of fence, it'll be, you still have to do the same way?
You know, I think the board's being concerned with the site visibility issues.
The site visibility is the issue here.
Chain
this-
link,
Yeah, but if we put a chain, link fence, it's also an issue to have it what I want in the property line.
It does resolve their site issues, right?
You had, I don't speak for the board, but they still may have a concern with having it on a property line, but you having a chain link fence that your neighbors and their driveways can see through would help your application. So whether it's on the property line, whether it's 5, whether it's 10, that's up to the board to decide. But having a chain link takes away the visibility issue that you
But
have with
like,
the solid
we used
fence.
to have the chain link before.
Correct. It wasn't on your property,
Yes.
so
I know
the board couldn't permit that.
Was there when we bought the house.
Yeah, it was there already.
Understood, understood.
You do have another issue here that I want to bring up to you. You have a swimming pool
Mhm.
in your yard.
What, I'm sorry?
You have a pool in your yard, above the ground pool. And I saw it when I was there. I was there 2 days at your house. Anybody could come in there
That's why.
and use your
that's-
pool.
That's why we are worried about it. That's why I said that we need the safety for the house. Because everybody can go through my property. That's why that I said before. That's why we are here to put some kind of safety.
But you also told us that the pool was there when you moved in
But we had the
2021.
chain link, we had the chain link fence before.
You didn't have a chain link fence, you have it now, but where
We just-
Henry Street is,
I
there's
take-
no
we
chain link
take it-
fence.
We take out because we cut the tree about 3 or 4 months ago. They were there.
Yeah, but they could come in right through here.
So they have a pool in their backyard. They had, well, as of this picture, they've got a chain link fence with an open, with the driveway portion open.
Yeah,
Now there's no chain link, but they have a pool. Ordinance says you have to have a pool. I mean, a fence around that pool.
So that's why we are here to try to, to put the safety that we can.
yeah, but the fence, the pool's been there since 2021, you said when you bought the house, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
but we, like I said, they were before the chain link fence.
But there's no fence on that driveway on Henry Street. There's no fence there.
No, it wasn't, but we took it off, we cut the tree off. That's why we took it off. It was tree on the tree,
Can I
like
ask a
5 trees.
question?
tall.
And how big was the fence? 3 foot?
Yeah, that 3 foot, yeah.
Jay.
That's not good enough.
Question? If you, even if they had that fence, it's a little dilapidated, but let's say it's brand new, beautiful fence with the open driveway. We would never grant a permit for that pool. It's just not safe, right? So something's not right here.
Correct. You wouldn't typically get involved with a pool application as long as it was conforming. You only would deal with it if it had a variance required. So if someone went in to get a pool permit and it had fence along the property,
Mhm.
they should get the pool permit.
Right.
If they put the pool up without a permit, which is what it appears because the fence was partial, it didn't cover the entire Henry Street frontage of the property, so it appears that the pool was constructed without any permits. And even though there was a partial fence there, it was recently taken down by the homeowners.
Even the partial, we would have never passed, Andy would have never given the,
I wouldn't think that, typically they check to see if the pool has the appropriate fencing when a permit's issued.
okay.
I mean, it's only a 3-foot fence. I mean, you could climb over that with no trouble at all. Your problem with your pool is a problem also.
If we had to take off, we take off. We just need to put the safe to the house. Like if you see the picture here, we used to have before. So that's, once we take off because we cut off the tree, that's why now we are worried about it, to put some safety in the house. As you see, we cut off the tree, the chain link, have to go out.
If they're willing.
Look the way that was before. So if about the neighbor can see it, how come they can see with those three there?
Yeah, they were really tall,
No, listen, let's not kid each other, okay? You look at the picture, that's not blocking you coming out of a driveway, those trees. A solid
Well-
vinyl, not a solid vinyl fence, you
The way-
cannot see
The
through
way
it.
that was when we bought the house was kind of,
There's no way.
a
I would
jumbo
be,
there.
this is not an obstructed view. I'm sorry. I'm rooting for you. I'm trying to give you the chain link option. You didn't want it, fine, whatever. But don't tell me that is an obstructed view.
no,
It's not.
I said that they were trees before
Yes,
there, so,
Which you can
the
see
problem is
perfectly into the
vision.
driveway.
Yeah.
I have a question for Jay.
Come on.
The chain link that goes in there. Would we approve that so close to the curb? Like,
No.
no, so
You would
that's-
never approve of putting private improvements on a public right of way. So that never would have gotten an approval from the board.
Yeah,
so
but.
that was done without approval.
But how come was there? I mean, somebody proved to the owner of the house before to put it there.
The owner probably put it there, no one complained about it, no one ever questioned it, so it just was allowed to stay there.
Yeah, okay.
But if you walk on Henry Street and you get near that driveway, you can see that pool. And someday, I hope it never happens, but someday, some kids are gonna go by there, they're gonna see that pool. And you're not gonna be home, and they're gonna go in there. And you're gonna have a problem, because there's no fence.
That's why that we try to avoid.
Well,
outside.
I know you want to correct it, but what you want to do is, we can't give you the okay to do it the way you want to do it. But what I would do right now is I would take that water out of that pool. So you don't have a problem with somebody going by when you're not home. And we have a disaster.
I know, but some good is that I work from home. And then when I had my second job at night, he's home.
I know, but there's going to be a time when nobody's going to be home. That
Yes.
could happen.
Yes. I
And if
agree
that
with you.
happens and that pool is filled with water, something drastically could happen.
I agree with you 100%. That's why, we try to put like something to be safe.
I mean, I drove by there the other day and stopped, and I could see that pool. And some kids are gonna see that pool, and yes, they're gonna trespass on your property, but they're gonna go in there.
I know, that's that we are worried about it.
So if you're
So
worried
that's
about
why
it,
what we are, to try
the
to,
advice I can give you is, until you get this fence and get this straightened out, take the water out of that pool.
so that's why.
I don't
we are
want you to
here.
have an accident, and it can
Another
happen.
option
To put the safety. That's
Another
why-
option is you could have a fence put around the top of the pool with a locking.
Yeah, that's that also the
locking
after
steps.
today, I mean, after this, we thought to go to even Home Depot, Louis to buy like the things that go around the pool. I don't know how that go.
You can go to a pool place that sells pools and talk to them and see if you can get a ladder put in and have a fence put around the pool itself.
Okay,
And then you won't have to worry about
okay.
the,
thank
the
you.
other part of it.
Thank you for that.
But I think you should do that soon
I'm
because,
gonna do it, don't worry, right away.
okay.
We're gonna do it this week as well.
And, you know,
Thank you.
if you're willing to put a chain link fence. What is it, an extra 10 foot,
Sorry, we take too much, but we try to,
you know, the board might be amenable to reconsidering its vote. So, I don't know if it makes sense for you to kind of look at where on the property, 10 feet, look on the sides, what you actually own. Maybe have a fence contractor give you a proposal as to where you put the fence set back, what, 10 extra feet from the property line if the board wants to grant that. And then bring it back because, there's not a lot of clarity right now. And, if you bring back something that is okay to the board may vote to reconsider.
Like what? Like,
Well, what you're going to consider is changing the way you want to put the fence up and the property line, et cetera. Or the other option is to go and get to a pool place and see about getting a fence put around the
that
pool.
we're gonna go after here. We're gonna go to see,
So you have some options and then whatever you decide, if you decide with the fence, you come back here with a different proposal.
Okay,
But we can't approve it the way in its present form,
okay,
okay?
Just
thank
to
you.
be clear, so the wall's an issue because we don't know if that's theirs or the neighbors. And they're gonna have to relocate fence along Henry Street because we're just not, they're just too close to the,
Correct.
those are.
I think if you go to your fence contractor and explain to him, the board is concerned about where the fence is going to be located on the property with the walls and also the visibility from Henry Street. Your fence contractor can walk in your neighbor's driveway and look to see where it can be placed where he can still have a line of sight. And then you come back and say, we're going to put it, whatever it is, 10 feet, 5 feet, whatever it's clear, the board would probably consider something like that.
Okay, thank you. But we had to go through the process again to
If you can
send the letters, do the, everything again?
get this stuff within the next, 10 days before the next meeting, board could do a motion for reconsideration and would have to renotice.
Okay.
Thank
But
you.
Beyond that, I'm going to be preparing a resolution denial, so, time is ticking.
I think one of the first things you should do is go to a pool company and see about putting a fence up around that pool. That's probably the best option without going to the site plans and changing the fence with a fence company. That's the one. But right
Okay.
now, I would take that water out of that pool so you don't have a problem in the next week or so,
We're gonna done that. We're gonna put the fence around the pole.
Maybe that's a good idea.
Yes, thank you for the advice.
Take a look at it, and if you're gonna go to the fence, then go down to the construction office with Mr. Mashansky and talk to him and get it back to us, and we'll take it from there.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you. I'm sorry we take a lot of your time.
You got a lot of work to do,
I do. Thank you.
okay?
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is the public comment.
Anyone from the public wish to speak on anything? No public comment. Next is resolutions. We have 5 of them. The first one I'm going to bring up is 26 Adam Boulevard. Has everyone had the opportunity to review the resolutions on that application? The hearing was on May 28th.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the resolution be approved as written.
I have a motion and a second on that resolution. Roll call.
Chairman Green,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Emma,
Yes.
Mr. Castle Grant,
Yes.
Ms. Gottstein.
Yes.
And Ms., were you here yet? Ms. Gazondi? Gajasandi, thank you. Ms. You were absent? Oh, she has you as a yes.
Okay, the next resolution is Sterling Towers Holding LLC of 879 Route 9. Has everyone had the opportunity to look over this resolution?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the resolution be approved as written.
Motion and a second. Roll call.
Chairman Green.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Esposito. Mr. Emma.
Yes.
Mr. Castle Grant.
Yes.
Ms. Gottstein.
Yes.
And Ms. Kazandi. She has you on here, so you're absent again on that one?
Yes.
Okay. What was the name?
The next resolution is 28 Felix Terrace. Has everyone had the opportunity to look over that resolution?
Yes. Mr. Chairman, I move that the resolution be approved as written.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Chairman Green.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Esposito. Mr. Emma.
Yes.
Mr. Castle Grant.
Yes.
Ms. Gottstein.
Yes.
And Ms. Kazandi.
Next resolution is 110 North Edward Street. Has everyone had the opportunity to look over that resolution?
Yes. I move the resolution be approved as written.
I have a motion and a second on that resolution. Roll call.
Chairman Green.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Esposito. Mr. Emma, you were absent. Mr. Castle Grant.
Yes.
Ms. Gottstein. Ms. Kazandi. Yeah, the next one's Wawa.
Yeah, okay. Last resolution is High Point Investments, 880 Main Street. Has everyone had the opportunity to look over that resolution?
Yes. I move the resolution be approved as written.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call.
Chairman Green.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Esposito. Mr. Emma, you're abstained. Mr. Castle Grant.
Yes.
Ms. Gottstein. And Ms. Kazandi. Thank you.
Has everyone had the opportunity to look over the minutes from the meeting of May 28, 2025?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Need a motion to accept them?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Make a motion for adjournment?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Meeting's adjourned.
Everybody?
Thank you.
Thank you.